What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be going over Palantir and the lawsuit that we have been going over that has to do with their NHS contract. So we just got a new update and the NHS actually lost. So we're going to go over exactly what this could mean for Palantir going forward. And we're going to make some implications onto what the risk factors could be for Palantir's business model going into the future. We're also going to go over and briefly touch on a very important event that Palantir has coming up in the near future that could give us some more insight into what has been exactly going on in this lawsuit and why this was actually filed. So before we get into all of that information, if you guys would like to earn those 2 free stocks with Webull, valued up to $1,850, and help out and support the channel, make sure you check out that link down in my description down below. All you have to do is sign up, deposit over $100, and you get those 2 free stocks, and I also get a free stock. Now, if you guys enjoyed the information that I provide for you in this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button and turn on that notification bell once you hit that subscribe button so you're notified every time I post a new video, so you get to stay up to date on all of your favorite stocks, learn about a couple of new ones, and see exactly which options I am trading and which strategies I am using to trade them. So looking at the chart of Palantir today, the stock is trading pretty flat. Now, we did see a very significant downturn over the past couple of weeks, and I know a lot of you guys have been a little bit freaked out about this, that all of the good news that comes out about Palantir is just pushing it down in the short term, but we have seen all of these hyper growth stocks get hit really big over the past couple of weeks, and in my opinion, there is nothing to be worried about really substantially and materially for Palantir in the long term. This company, in my opinion, is going to be the best company in data analytics. They are doing things that no other company at the current time is capable of, and they keep rolling out new platforms and upgrades to their existing platforms, engaging in new partnerships, which allows them to get so many more new deals in their pipeline. I'm also predicting that we are going to see a lot more deals and contracts come Palantir's way over the next 2 years. Now, the reason for this is that Palantir now has access to about 2,500 individuals for sales support through IBM. Now, I think that they are going to use this as a lead generation tactic because I think Alex Karp is still going to be the one that is going to be closing these deals. As we've seen before, that when these types and size of deals are being signed, that the companies don't want to talk to the vice president of sales, they want to talk to the CEO, and in this case it's also the co-founder of the company. So Alex Karp is going to have a better insight into exactly how this technology functions and how it best fits into the company who wants a Palantir contracts business model. So we also have some pretty unusual options activity on the Palantir option chain. So we're going to take a look at these. So April 16th is a very important date because this is a couple of days after Palantir is going to be having its double-click demo day event. So a little bit later in this video, we're going to tie all of that into this lawsuit. But for the current time, we can see that these $30 strikes are down today, but there is a 62,187 open interest. Essentially what this means is that that's the amount of contracts that people are holding in their brokerage accounts at the current time. Now, these could be institutions, but I don't think it is going to be institutions because these are so deep out of the money. Odds are this is a lot of retail traders coming in and putting a lot of money on Palantir going to or above 30 by this April 16th expiration date. Now, the volume on these contracts is also pretty substantial as well, 2,699. The 28s also have a pretty substantial volume, but when we move closer to the money, it makes sense that we would see a higher volume. Now, what's interesting about this options chain is that we can see that there's a 33,000 open interest, 62,000, 21,000. There's a lot of contracts being held on the call side, and when we switch over to the puts, for this same expiration date, we can see that the $20 strike on the put side is only 23,812. That is the highest open interest that we see on this options chain, which suggests to me that options traders are extremely bullish on Palantir going into these next couple of weeks. So we are going to see what happens with this. Typically, when we look at this unusual options activity and the open interest, it gives us a good indicator of where we may want to actually get into these positions and figure out which strikes we would like to get into. But with the overall market conditions, Palantir is in a tough spot, but the double-click demo day could send Palantir going flying. So now, before we get into the results of the lawsuit, for those of you guys who have been not paying attention to this, I want to give you guys a little bit of a background on what this lawsuit exactly is. So the NHS is facing legal challenge over data deal with controversial Silicon Valley firm Palantir. So Palantir secured its first ever deal to handle NHS data in March last year for the nominal sum of €1. So that's very interesting to see. I actually thought this was a typo the first time I read this about a month ago. And what this essentially means to me is that there needs to be some sort of payment to make the contract binding. So I think that's what really occurred here. And the NHS was really testing the waters with the Palantir technology. So we can see, if we come down a little bit further, the court case against the health service, which was announced today, could force it to reconsider the contract, which was extended in December 2020 and is now worth £23.5 million. So the lawsuit is the latest challenge over procurement during the pandemic, which has become a highly contentious topic in recent months, with critics accusing the government of favoring its own contacts. So basically what's going on here is that this organization who is suing the NHS feels that Palantir has too much access to the medical data of everybody that lives in the UK. Now, this is a fair point, and this brings up one of the main risk factors that I see for Palantir in the future. They are a very advanced data analytics company, and the only way for them to be successful and help out the companies that they have contracts with is to analyze and use the data and use their artificial intelligence software to present the data in a very simple fashion so the decision makers can make the best decisions based on the data. Now, this is a significant risk factor because we could see lawsuits like this pop up time and time again, which could cause Palantir to lose future contracts, which we are going to see right here. So right here, we can see that the NHS has lost the lawsuit over the data deal with Palantir, and Palantir's contract will not be extended without a public consultation. Now, we don't know what this public consultation means at the current time. I find it very hard to believe that they're going to hold a massive vote on whether or not that they can use Palantir's systems, but the UK government has been forced to make a U-turn after losing a lawsuit over a £23 million NHS data contract awarded to the controversial US firm Palantir. In a blog post, Open Democracy, who brought this lawsuit, revealed that the government has now committed to not extending Palantir's contract beyond the pandemic without consulting the public. It has also agreed to engage the public via patient juries about whether firms like Palantir are appropriate for a long-term role in the NHS at all. It is a major U-turn at a critical moment. The NHS, with its unique trove of structured health data, is powerfully attractive to tech corporations. Palantir and other U.S. tech firms clearly stand to profit from managing or accessing this asset, estimated to be worth $10 billion a year. The NHS data store is the largest pool of private health data in NHS history. And that raises questions too important to be settled in secret deals. Should it survive the pandemic? On what terms should Palantir manage it? Or are there more trustworthy alternatives? So this is a pretty big deal. This is a pretty significant contract for Palantir. So the fact that they're not going to have this contract extended isn't the best sign. I think the goal of these pandemic contracts with Palantir was to create a working relationship with these governments and explain to them how they can better help them in other aspects. So we are not going to see that with Palantir and the UK at the current time. Now, it is possible that through these patient juries and some other things that this lawsuit ends up getting rescinded and it gets overturned. But at the current time, Palantir is losing a significant chunk of revenue, which is not a very good sign. Now, if you've seen my other Palantir videos, we've talked about how really this could affect Palantir in the long term, and I don't think that this is going to have a massive effect until we see a lot more of these lawsuits pop up about this data protection issue. Now, if we do see a lot more lawsuits pop up and Palantir has to deal with this directly and they aren't actually being involved in the lawsuit, they're directly being sued, then we could see more problems. But this deal right here in this lawsuit, I really don't think is going to be the end-all be-all for Palantir. As I've said in a lot of my other videos, Palantir's total addressable market, I don't think that we know what it could possibly be yet. Palantir is still getting into other markets. We've seen them get into tech companies. We've seen them get into oil companies, helping out governments with the pandemic. It's been a massive expansion for Palantir over the last year. Now, we do have a very important event coming up for Palantir in which the NHS is actually involved. So coming over here, Palantir's double-click demo day event is going to be occurring on April 14th, 2021. And if you guys were around for my Palantir videos on this first demo day, We went through it in detail. We covered this a lot, and we saw a massive price run up into this event and a continuation after. This was right around the time that Palantir got up to its all-time high of $45. So we can see that the first event will feature in-depth demonstrations of Palantir Foundry for life sciences and industrials. Palantir's customers in these verticals include Merck, NIH, and here we go, NHS. So we're going to see exactly how Palantir has been helping out the NHS over the past year. We also have BP. So NHS and BP are going to be the most important ones in my opinion, because Palantir was able to save BP about $50 million of working capital in just a 2-week time frame through BP's use of Palantir's ERP suite. So this is a big deal. And if Palantir is able to show us through this demo day event how they were able to do this, this is going to attract a lot more companies to engage with Palantir and enter into contracts, because this is going to create a competitive advantage for companies if they are engaging with Palantir, because Palantir is going to be able to free up so much working capital and money for these companies to use that it would be a mistake not to actually purchase these contracts and the software from Palantir. So now moving back over to the chart, again, Palantir is trading extremely flat today. We did see it in the red this morning, but then it bounced up back into the green. Now, I do think that it is possible that Palantir does fall below 20 if the overall market conditions start to freak out with the 10-year treasury and these hedge funds collapsing. So it is possible that we do see some more downside. So there are some strategies that you can use, as I've talked about before. You can sell some covered calls on Palantir and use the premiums that you collect to get some free shares to lower your cost basis. And if you have not already entered a position in Palantir, or you still have a lot of cash left to buy the dip, you can sell some cash secured puts, collect some premiums, put those premiums into Palantir shares, and then if these contracts get exercised, you just get to buy Palantir at a price that you are happy with. So those are a couple of strategies that you can use, but that is going to wrap up this update for Palantir. If you guys enjoyed the information that I provided for you in this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button and turn on that notification bell once you hit that subscribe button and you join the channel. So I hope you guys are having a really profitable day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.